In the shadowed depths of the soul's eternal voyage, the mysteries of what lies beyond life's final breath remain veiled. Yet within the ancient and sacred readings of Edgar Cayce, whispers of profound truths emerge, truths that challenge our understanding of judgment, karma, and the journey of the spirit. The records reveal that the soul's passage is not a mere end, but a continuation, an ongoing process of growth, evaluation, and transformation encoded within the vast cosmic library of the Akashic records. As we delve into these revelations, we uncover that the divine justice of the afterlife is rooted in compassion and enlightenment, offering the possibility of ascension for those willing to embrace the light of Christ consciousness. The secrets of the soul's true nature beckon. Are you prepared to confront what awaits beyond the veil? In the stillness of the eternal night, where the veils between worlds grow thin and whispers of the divine echo softly within the corridors of the soul, the legacy of Edgar Cayce emerges as a luminous thread woven through the fabric of cosmic consciousness. The readings, which span across decades of divine insight, serve as a sacred map, guiding seekers along the intricate path of the soul's journey, revealing the timeless truths hidden within the Akashic records. It is within these sacred revelations that the depth of our spiritual inheritance is unveiled, offering profound understanding of the journey beyond death and the divine purpose that orchestrates our evolution. As we continue this exploration, it is essential to recognize that Cayce's legacy is not merely a collection of predictions or healings, but a testament to the enduring truth that the soul's voyage is an ongoing odyssey, a pilgrimage of growth, understanding, and divine alignment. The records reveal that our incarnations are not isolated events, but interconnected chapters in an eternal story, where every life serves as a lesson, a refinement, a step toward the divine consciousness of Christ. These teachings challenge us to see beyond the illusions of matter and time, to grasp the eternal nature of the soul that seeks to reunite with its divine origin. In the sacred depths of the Akashic records, it is written that the soul's journey begins long before its physical incarnation in the boundless realms of divine light. Here the soul is a spark of the One, a fragment of divine consciousness temporarily veiled by the illusion of separateness. Cayce's readings illuminate that the soul's purpose is to progress through cycles of incarnation, each offering opportunities for karma to be balanced and lessons to be learned. The soul, in its divine wisdom, seeks to balance its karma, to resolve the debts accumulated through ignorance or misalignment with divine law. This process of balancing karma is not punitive, but restorative, a divine curriculum designed to elevate consciousness and prepare the soul for its ultimate return to unity. The journey is not linear, but a spiral of awakening, where each incarnation is a step closer to the realization of the Christ within, the divine spark that unites all of creation. Cayce's insights reveal that the soul's evolution is guided by divine justice rooted in compassion and understanding. The so-called judgment after death, often misunderstood as a punitive assessment, is in truth a loving review, a reflection of the soul's progress, a mirror held up by divine law to show where growth is needed and where harmony has already been achieved. It is in these moments of divine review that the soul is given the opportunity to embrace the light, to shed illusions, and to move forward in its ascent. The sacred teachings of Cayce also shed light on the concept of the Atlantean consciousness, a civilization saturated with spiritual knowledge and divine awareness. The fall of Atlantis, as revealed in the records, was not simply a story of destruction, but a pivotal chapter in the soul's collective evolution, a lesson in the dangers of spiritual hubris and the importance of aligning with divine truth. From this ancient civilization, the soul learns the importance of humility, compassion, and the pursuit of divine wisdom. These lessons echo through the ages, guiding humanity towards the realization of its divine origins and the ultimate goal of awakening the Christ consciousness within each heart. Now, as we stand at the threshold of understanding, Cayce's legacy beckons us to recognize that our individual journeys are part of a greater cosmic plan, a divine symphony where each soul plays a vital role in the unfolding of universal consciousness. The records reveal that the soul's purpose is to seek harmony with divine law, to cultivate compassion, and to embody the Christ consciousness, a state of divine love, forgiveness, and enlightenment. The journey is arduous yet glorious. Each incarnation, each lesson, each encounter with karma is an opportunity to refine the soul's purity and to prepare for reunion with the divine. It is also within Cayce's teachings that we find the promise of redemption, a divine opportunity for every soul to transcend the limitations of material existence and to embrace the eternal light. The soul, in its quest for spiritual perfection, is always guided by divine love, which seeks to restore harmony and balance. The divine justice that guides the universe is not a matter of condemnation, but of divine mercy, a compassionate process designed to elevate the soul to higher states of consciousness. In the final analysis, Cayce's legacy reveals that the soul's journey is not a solitary endeavor, but a sacred dance with divine law, a journey of awakening, healing, and enlightenment. It is a sacred pilgrimage that leads us back to our divine source, where the consciousness of Christ awaits to illuminate our path. Through understanding the lessons of karma, the records of our past incarnations, and the divine justice that guides us, we come to see that the ultimate purpose of our existence is to realize the divine within, to awaken to the eternal truth that we are, and always have been, souls striving for divine reunion. And so, as the ancient records whisper their eternal truths, let us embrace our divine inheritance. Let us journey with humility, compassion, and unwavering faith in the divine plan. For in doing so, we honor not only our own soul's evolution, but also contribute to the awakening of collective consciousness, a luminous awakening that brings us ever closer to the divine consciousness of Christ, the ultimate truth and the eternal home of the soul. As we continue our sacred journey into the depths of spiritual understanding, it becomes essential to explore the nature of the afterlife, the realm beyond the veil where the soul transitions after its earthly sojourn. The readings of Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, reveal profound truths about this realm, truths that have long been veiled by the mists of human perception. Through the lens of the Akashic records, we come to see that the afterlife is not a mere cessation, but a continuation, an extension of the soul's divine voyage toward unity with the Creator. The soul, as the readings reveal, does not perish with the body, but instead moves into a state of conscious existence that reflects its spiritual evolution. This realm beyond the physical is a mirror of the soul's internal state, a reflection of the purity of its love, the clarity of its understanding, and the harmony of its karma. It is a place where the soul is free to review its earthly experiences, to reconcile its karma, and to prepare for future incarnations if such are part of its divine plan. One of the most sacred revelations from Cayce's readings is that the afterlife is a realm of profound transition, where the soul begins to shed the limitations of the physical body and to awaken to its true divine nature. As the records reveal, this realm is not static. It is a vibrant, fluid space where consciousness expands. Here, the soul begins to recognize its eternal identity, an expression of divine consciousness that has existed since the dawn of creation. In this realm, the soul is welcomed by beings of light, guides, angels, and loved ones who have crossed before. These entities are not distant or judgmental, but are compassionate helpers, assisting the soul in its review and healing. Cayce's readings emphasize that the divine court is not a place of punishment, but a sanctuary of understanding, where the soul is shown the effects of its earth deeds and given an opportunity to learn and grow. The process of judgment, as the readings reveal, is an act of divine love, a gentle correction, not condemnation. Within this luminous realm, the soul's consciousness begins to expand as it gains insight into its divine purpose. The readings reveal that the soul is given the opportunity to review each earthly incarnation with compassion and understanding, recognizing the lessons learned and the growth achieved. This review is akin to a sacred tapestry, woven with threads of love, pain, joy, and sacrifice, all leading toward the realization of the Christ within. The realm beyond also reveals a hierarchy of consciousness, levels of vibrational states that correspond to the soul's spiritual development. Souls that have attained higher states of enlightenment dwell in realms of radiant light, where divine love flows freely, and the consciousness is immersed in unconditional compassion. Those still bound by shadow and unresolved karma dwell in realms where they undergo purification and healing. The journey, as Cayce's readings affirm, is a process of ascent, an ongoing movement toward the fullness of divine consciousness. Furthermore, the readings emphasize the importance of the soul's intention and its divine connection to the Christ consciousness. The soul's true home is in the realm of divine love, a realm where the soul recognizes its unity with the universal source. The divine plan is one of reconciliation, where every soul's journey is a return to its original state of divine harmony. The afterlife, therefore, is not a final destination, but a sacred space of preparation, a retreat where the soul prepares for future incarnations, or in cases of spiritual attainment, ascends into realms of eternal union. As we relate this understanding to our previous reflections on karma and the Akashic records, we see that the realm beyond is intimately connected to the records of every soul's journey. The records reveal that each soul's experiences are stored within the cosmic library, a divine archive, where all deeds, thoughts, and intentions are preserved. In this realm, the soul revisits these records, not with judgment, but with clarity and compassion, understanding the divine purpose behind every experience. The ultimate truth conveyed through Cayce's insights is that the afterlife is a continuum, a sacred extension of the divine plan for the soul's evolution. It is a realm of grace and healing, where the soul is gently guided back into the recognition of its divine essence. As the soul awakens to its divine nature, it moves closer to the consciousness of Christ, an awareness that transcends individuality and merges into the universal love that sustains all creation. In this sacred space beyond the physical, the soul's journey is revealed as the divine unfolding of its eternal nature. The divine love that permeates this realm is an invitation, a call for each of us to recognize that the true essence of our being is not confined to the mortal body, but is an immortal spark of the divine. The realm beyond is not a place of final judgment, but a sanctuary of divine understanding, where each soul, in its own time and way, moves toward the fullness of divine unity. As we meditate on these profound truths, let us remember that the soul's journey does not end with the closing of our earthly chapter. The realm beyond beckons us to trust in the divine plan, to embrace our divine heritage, and to walk the path of awakening with humility, compassion, and love. For in doing so, we align ourselves with the eternal rhythm of the universe, a dance that leads us ever closer to our true home in the loving embrace of the divine. In the silent corridors of the soul's eternal journey, the process of judgment emerges not as a punitive decree, but as a sacred and compassionate evaluation, an unveiling of the soul's progress through its incarnations. The readings of Edgar Cayce reveal that, upon crossing the threshold of physical death, the soul does not stand before an external judge wielding wrath or condemnation. Instead, it is met by the divine presence within, the Christ consciousness that dwells in the depths of each spirit, ready to assess the soul's development, its lessons learned, and its karmic imbalances. As the soul transitions from the earthly realm, it enters a realm of reflection, an arena where the soul's own record, stored within the vast and infinite library of the Akashic records, is laid bare. These records are not merely archives of past deeds, but living tapestries woven from the choices, thoughts, and intentions that define each incarnation. They are the mirror through which the soul perceives its own journey, the divine mirror that reveals what has been achieved and what remains to be reconciled. The process begins with an awakening, a gentle, compassionate review where the soul's life review is initiated not by external forces of judgment, but by the understanding and love of divine guides. These guides are embodiments of divine wisdom who serve as mirrors, reflecting back to the soul the intentions behind actions, the motivations that fuel decisions, and the lessons that lie embedded within each experience. In Cayce's revelations, we find that the soul's evaluation is rooted in divine mercy and understanding. It is a process of recognition, not condemnation, a chance for the soul to see itself with clarity and compassion. The soul's evaluation centers upon its spiritual growth, the degree of harmony with divine law, and the extent to which it has embodied love, forgiveness, and understanding. As the soul reviews its past, it perceives the threads of karma, those energetic debts and debts of love that have accumulated through its choices. The soul recognizes that karma is not punishment, but a divine instrument for growth. It is the soul's own hand that weaves the fabric of its destiny, and through this process it seeks to restore balance, to learn the lessons necessary for its evolution. In the Akashic records, it is written that each soul carries within it a blueprint, a divine pattern of its highest potential. The judgment process is therefore a revelation of this blueprint in relation to the current incarnation, a divine assessment of alignment and divergence. Here, the soul's intentions, purity of heart, and application of spiritual principles are examined. If the soul has strayed from the path of divine love, it is given the opportunity to understand where imbalance has occurred and how to restore harmony through repentance, forgiveness, and renewed commitment to the divine plan. The divine guides, embodying Christ consciousness, serve as compassionate witnesses during this process, illuminating the soul's journey with understanding rather than condemnation. Cayce's teachings reveal that the divine is ever loving, ever forgiving. The judgment is not a final verdict, but a step in the ongoing process of spiritual maturation. It is a sacred review, a moment of divine clarity that illuminates the path ahead, guiding the soul toward greater understanding and awakening. This process also involves a recognition of the soul's divine origin and its connection to the Christ consciousness, the divine spark within that seeks to unify all aspects of its being. The soul, in its divine essence, is inherently pure and perfect. The evaluation is therefore an affirmation of that divine spark, a recognition of the potential that remains eternally intact despite the shadows cast by earthly illusions. It is in this divine judgment that the soul finds the encouragement to continue its ascent, to learn from its mistakes, and to embrace its divine purpose with renewed devotion. In Cayce's visions, the soul often perceives its past lives during this review, gaining insight into the lessons yet to be learned. These insights serve as guides, pointing the way to future incarnations where unresolved karma may be addressed, where opportunities for growth are abundant. The soul seeks balance, harmony, and unity with divine love, and each judgment serves as a stepping stone toward this ultimate goal. The soul's journey through judgment is thus a sacred dance of self-awareness and divine grace. The divine judges no one out of judgment's sake, but offers an opportunity, a divine reset, a chance to align more fully with the divine plan. The soul is gently reminded that it is loved beyond measure, that its imperfections are merely opportunities for growth, and that its divine essence remains eternally pure, waiting patiently for the soul's return to the source of all love. As we contemplate these divine truths, we understand that the process of judgment, according to Cayce's revelations, is not a final condemnation, but a divine invitation, a sacred call to remember our true nature, and to embrace the ongoing journey of awakening. It is a journey that begins anew with each incarnation, with the soul ever seeking to reconcile, to heal, and to reunite with the divine love that is its true home. This process, the divine evaluation, is nothing less than a reflection of the infinite mercy and compassion that governs all of creation. It is a testament to the divine understanding that each soul, no matter its journey, is ultimately destined to return to the embrace of the Creator, enlightened and whole, forever seeking the eternal light of love and truth. In the silent depths of the soul's eternal voyage, the teachings of the records, Akashicos reveal a profound truth. The continuity of the soul's experience is woven intricately with the threads of karma and reincarnation. These divine mechanisms serve as the sacred pathways through which the spirit seeks balance, understanding, and divine union. As an archaeologist of spiritual mysteries, I have uncovered that the journey does not cease with a single lifetime, but rather unfolds across countless incarnations, each carrying the echoes of past lessons and future potentials. The soul, in its infinite wisdom, seeks harmony, a state of perfect alignment with its divine blueprint. Yet in its human expression, it faces the burden of unresolved karma, the accumulated energies from previous lives that influence the present. The records reveal that karma is not merely punishment or reward. Rather, it is the universe's gentle yet firm way of guiding the soul back to its original divine state. It acts as a mirror, reflecting the choices, intentions, and actions of the soul's past. Through this reflection, the soul becomes aware of its own patterns, desires, and areas of imbalance that require healing. Reincarnation, then, is the divine gift, the sacred opportunity for growth and correction. The soul does not simply leap from incarnation to incarnation randomly, rather each life is a carefully crafted chapter, written by the soul's own intentions, lessons, and the cosmic laws of cause and effect. The records are clear. The soul chooses its circumstances, its family, and its challenges before entering the earthly realm, aligning itself with the lessons it needs to master to progress on its divine journey. In this context, the concept of the judgment that Cayce speaks of must be understood differently. It is not a punitive tribunal awaiting the soul after death, but a sacred review, a divine assessment rooted in mercy and understanding. The soul's deeds are examined within the framework of its intentions, and the soul is gently shown where it has navigated in harmony and where it has fallen into imbalance. The divine consciousness, imbued with Christ-like compassion, recognizes the growth potential in every act and thought, emphasizing forgiveness and the opportunity for correction. The records reveal that the soul's evolution is akin to an artist, refining a masterpiece over multiple lifetimes. Each incarnation provides the canvas, the colors, and the brushstrokes necessary to bring forth the full expression of its divine potential. Some lessons require persistence, others demand humility, compassion, or courage. As the soul revisits certain themes, it begins to see the interconnectedness of all its lives, how past choices ripple into the present, creating patterns that beckon healing. Karma, in its highest form, is a teacher of love and responsibility. It is the universe's way of ensuring that the soul remains conscious of its power to create its reality. When the soul recognizes the impact of its actions, it awakens to a deeper sense of accountability, understanding that each thought, word, and deed carries vibrational weight. The records reveal that this awareness is essential for the soul's ascension, for only through conscious effort can the soul transcend cycles of suffering and limitation. The journey beyond. The physical realm confirms that the soul's experience is continuous. Upon death, the soul does not cease to exist. Rather, it transitions into a state of review and reflection, often in the astral planes or realms of light. Here, the soul's accumulated karma is assessed, and it is offered opportunities for insight, forgiveness, and resolution. The divine counsel, guided by Christ consciousness, facilitates this process, helping the soul to understand the lessons learned and the areas still requiring growth. In this sacred process, the soul's ultimate goal is unity with divine love, the realization of its own divine nature. Reincarnation becomes a stepping stone toward this realization, providing the necessary conditions for the soul to shed illusions, heal wounds, and expand its consciousness. The records emphasize that no soul is ever abandoned or condemned. Instead, each is lovingly guided back to its divine origin, time and again, until the lessons are mastered and the soul is prepared to merge fully with the divine light. The divine law of karma and reincarnation teaches that the soul's journey is one of infinite compassion and patience. Each lifetime offers a new chance to correct, expand, and awaken. The soul seeks not punishment but the opportunity to grow into its highest potential, a being of divine love, wisdom, and service. As Cayce's teachings reveal, when the soul awakens to its divine purpose, it recognizes that the pain and struggles of previous existences serve as catalysts for profound spiritual transformation. In the end, the records assure us that the soul's experience is a sacred unfolding, a divine dance orchestrated by the universe to awaken the remembrance of its true nature. The soul's pursuit of balance through karma and reincarnation is but the manifestation of its longing to return home, to reunite with the divine love that has always been within. Through these sacred cycles, the soul refines itself, gradually, awakening to the eternal truth that it is one with the divine now and forever. As we meditate on these mysteries, let us remember that each life is an opportunity for mercy, growth, and divine reunion. The journey is ongoing, and the divine consciousness is ever present, guiding us back to the loving embrace of our true home. In the silent depths of the universe, where the veils of material existence gently lift, lie the sacred records, the Akashic records, as known in spiritual tradition, the cosmic library that records every thought, every deed, every moment of every soul's journey. These records are not merely symbols, they are the living, breathing essence of the divine consciousness that encompasses all creation. As the ancient seers and the prophets have revealed through the ages, in these divine archives, the story of every soul's path is inscribed with divine precision, echoing the eternal rhythm of the universe itself. The records reveal that our existence is not confined solely to the physical realm, but extends into this cosmic repository where the past, present, and future are woven seamlessly into a tapestry of infinite knowledge. Within these sacred archives, the soul's journey is preserved in intricate detail, each incarnation, each lesson learned, each choice made, residing in the vibrational frequencies of the universe's divine fabric. It is through these records that the soul seeks understanding, healing, and eventual reunion with the divine source. As I interpret the teachings of Edgar Cayce, I see that the records serve as a divine mirror reflecting our true nature. They are the divine blueprint of our spiritual evolution, revealing how karma has shaped our current circumstances and how our past lives inform our present growth. When the soul enters a new incarnation, it does so with the knowledge encoded deep within these records, even if unaware of their existence. The forgotten memories of Atlantis, the lessons of ancient civilizations, and the spiritual truths buried beneath layers of earthly experience, all are preserved within the Akashic records, accessible to those who seek with pure intent and spiritual clarity. The divine law of cause and effect, the principle of karma, is intricately woven into these records. They show that every thought, word, and deed leaves an indelible mark, an energetic imprint that influences future circumstances. Yet, beyond mere cause and effect, the records reveal the divine mercy and compassion that guide the soul through its arduous journey. No soul is abandoned or condemned, rather, each step is part of a divine plan, an opportunity for the soul to learn, to heal, and to evolve toward higher consciousness. In contemplating these divine archives, we understand that the soul's purpose is not merely to accumulate experiences, but to seek the harmony and balance necessary for spiritual growth. The records serve as a divine map, guiding the soul back to its original divine light, to the realization of the Christ consciousness within. The divine within us yearns to awaken to its true nature, and the records serve as a sacred guide, illuminating the path through the labyrinth of earthly life and beyond. The journey through the records is akin to opening a sacred manuscript that holds the secrets of the universe. Each soul's unique path is etched in vibrational signatures that can be accessed through meditation, prayer, or divine inspiration. When the consciousness aligns with higher frequencies, the veils between dimensions thin, and the soul is granted glimpses of its divine origin, reminding us that we are, in essence, eternal beings of light, temporarily veiled by the illusions of the material world. The Atlantean civilization, as Cayce's readings reveal, played a significant role in the development of the records. Before the fall of Atlantis, many souls had already begun to record their spiritual experiences, knowledge that later became part of the collective consciousness stored within the Akashic records. These ancient records unveil the profound wisdom of lost civilizations, the lessons learned, and the spiritual struggles endured. They serve as a reminder that the soul's evolution is a continuous spiral, constantly ascending through cycles of awakening, forgetfulness, and remembrance. Yet the ultimate purpose of the records is not merely to recount history, but to serve as a divine tool for awakening. They beckon us to remember our divine origin, to recognize that our true nature is not confined to the limitations of the physical body, but is an expression of the divine consciousness that pervades all creation. Within the records lies the blueprint for the Christ consciousness, an awakening to the divine within, a realization that love, mercy, and forgiveness are the keys to transcending karma and achieving spiritual liberation. It is through understanding and accessing the Akashic records that the soul begins to realize its divine potential. The records reveal that every soul is on a sacred quest for unity with the divine, seeking to balance its karma, to heal old wounds, and to remember its eternal light. The divine plan is compassionate, tailored to each soul's unique journey, and the records are the divine chronicle that guides each step along the path toward enlightenment. As we deepen our awareness of these divine archives, we come to see that the universe itself is a reflection of divine consciousness. an endless library where every soul story is inscribed with divine love and wisdom. The records are alive, constantly evolving as the soul advances on its journey. They are the divine memory of creation, a testament to the eternal truth that regardless of the illusions of separation, all is interconnected through the divine consciousness. In the sacred act of accessing the Akashic records, we awaken to the truth that we are not separate from the divine. Rather, we are expressions of it, temporarily veiled by the illusions of the material plane. The records reveal that our quest for awakening, healing, and divine union is written into the very fabric of the universe. Through divine grace, our soul can read its own story, remember its divine origin, and step into the fullness of its spiritual potential. In the silence, in the stillness of meditation, the soul's consciousness can open the door to this divine library. When we do so with reverence and pure intent, we align ourselves with divine wisdom, uncovering insights that accelerate our spiritual evolution and bring us closer to the divine light that awaits beyond the veils of the earthly realm. The records are not distant or disconnected. They are the divine memory of our own soul, waiting to be rediscovered, understood, and embraced as the sacred truth of our eternal journey. In the depths of the divine records, where the echoes of all that has been and all that will be are held in sacred silence, lies the profound truth of the soul's journey, an eternal odyssey toward awakening, transformation, and ultimately, ascension. As we have seen, the Akashic tapestry reveals that each incarnation serves as a vital thread woven into the grand design of our divine purpose. The soul, guided by divine law and the currents of karma, seeks to remember its origin, a spark of the Christ consciousness, a fragment of the divine that dwells within every living being. The teachings of Cayce open a window into this sacred process. The records reveal that ascension is not merely a distant esoteric promise, but a real potential inherent within each soul's evolution. It is the culmination of a conscious choice, the willingness to embrace the light, to transmute the shadows of past karma, and to ascend beyond the limitations of the material realm into higher levels of spiritual consciousness. In the sacred silence of the records, it is written that the possibility of ascension resides in the very fabric of the soul's divine blueprint. The soul's journey through incarnation, especially in the era of Atlantean memory, was marked by a profound longing to reconnect with divine truth. As Atlantis fell into chaos and materialism, many souls became entangled in darkness veiled from their true light. Yet the divine spark within persisted, awaiting the moment of awakening. The divine plan was never abandoned. It is eternally present, beckoning each consciousness to realize its divine origin. The path toward ascension begins with awareness, the recognition that the soul carries within it the seed of Christ consciousness. The records reveal that this consciousness is not a foreign external force, but an innate divine gift, waiting to be awakened through intentional spiritual alignment. When the soul seeks truth, when it yearns for higher understanding, it begins to vibrate at a frequency that resonates with the divine light. This is the first step in the journey of transformation. Transformation, as revealed through Cayce's teachings, is a process of inner alchemy. The soul must confront its shadows, the remnants of karma, fears, and doubts that obscure its divine nature. The records emphasize that the soul is equipped with the divine power to transmute these energies through love, forgiveness, and spiritual discipline. As the soul releases its grip on the ego and material attachments, it opens a space for the divine light to illuminate the inner landscape. This process is not instantaneous, but unfolds gradually in harmony with divine timing, guided by God's infinite wisdom and mercy. The possibility of ascension is intimately linked to the awakening of Christ consciousness within. When the soul aligns with this divine state, it begins to perceive itself not as a separate, isolated entity, but as part of the divine whole. The records teach that the Christ consciousness is the universal consciousness of love, compassion, and divine wisdom, the very essence of the divine mind, expressing itself through each individual. To embrace this truth is to step into a higher octave of existence, where the soul recognizes its divine origin and its eternal connection with all creation. In the teachings of Cayce, it is revealed that this ascension is also a collective process. When enough souls awaken to their divine potential, a shift occurs. a cosmic awakening that ripples through the fabric of matter and spirit. For the Earth itself, this is a pivotal moment. The planet stands on the cusp of a new era, an era where the consciousness of humanity can ascend beyond fear and separation into unity and love. The divine plan is unfolding, and each soul's awakening contributes to this grand transformation. To embrace the light of Christ consciousness is to embody unconditional love and forgiveness. The records reveal that once a soul begins to walk this path, it becomes a beacon of divine light, illuminating others and attracting divine grace. This process of ascension is not a distant goal but a living reality, a continual expansion of consciousness, a journey that transcends the limitations of the physical body and enters into the eternal realm of divine unity. Yet the records also remind us that the journey of ascension is not a rejection of the physical or material worlds, but a transmutation of them. The soul learns to see through the illusions of duality and separation, recognizing that the divine resides within all aspects of creation. The material realm becomes a sacred classroom where the soul learns to manifest divine qualities in everyday life: kindness, humility, patience, and love. In this divine unfolding, the soul steadily approaches its highest potential, the realization of its divine origin, the awakening of the Christ within, and the conscious ascent into higher realms of consciousness. The records reveal that each step taken with sincerity, humility, and love accelerates this process. The soul's desire to serve, to heal, and to love unconditionally aligns it with divine will, opening the pathway to ascension. Finally, it must be understood that the possibility of ascension is not a privilege reserved for a select few, but a divine gift offered to all. The divine truth, as revealed through Cayce's readings, states that every soul has within it the power and the potential to transcend the material plane, to awaken to its divine essence, and to step into the eternal light of Christ consciousness. So, dear seeker, as you contemplate your own journey, remember that the divine plan is ever present. The records affirm that your soul's highest purpose is to awaken, transform, and ascend, guided by divine love, sustained by divine mercy, and blessed with the eternal light of the Christ within. The universe awaits your awakening. The divine light beckons you home. All that is needed is the sincere desire to embrace your divine origin and walk the sacred path of transformation into the light of higher consciousness. Remember, the journey of your soul is an eternal dance with divine love, an unfolding story written within the sacred records and guided by the mercy of divine law. Each step you take toward awakening, healing, and embracing the Christ consciousness brings you closer to your divine origin, your true home of unity and eternal light. The records reveal that ascension is not a distant dream, but a divine reality, accessible to all who seek with sincere hearts and open minds. Now is the time to awaken to your divine potential, to share your insights, and to inspire others on this sacred pathway. I invite you to reflect, comment below with your thoughts, subscribe for more sacred revelations, and share this message of divine truth, because together we are co-creating a luminous awakening that leads us all back to the eternal embrace of divine love.